Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss our topic, and it's all about knowledge, skills, and attitude of forest governance. By the way, I am Julianne Marie B. Manlangit. In general, forest governance is considered good or responsible when it is characterized by the following elements. First is adherence to the rule of law. To maintain accountability, stability, equality, and access to justice for all government must have good laws, institutions, and processes. By having a strong role of a law, governments give businesses and society the stability of knowing that all rights are respected and protected. And next is transparency and low levels of corruption. Corruption, according to the organization, is the misuse of entrusted power for personal gain, which ultimately harms everyone who relies on the integrity of those in positions of authority. It creates anti-corruption tools and collaborates with other civil society businesses, and governments to put them into practice. And the third one is stakeholder participation and decision making. There are key stakeholders who should be involved in decision making when making a significant or complex business decision. They are aware of the difficulties and requirements of the business and or are concerned about the outcome. This should also include key individuals who can contribute to the success of the implementation. And participation by project stakeholders means sharing a common understanding and involved in the decision making process of the project. Participation by stakeholders leads to empowerment and to joint ownership of the project. And next is adequate equal rights for stakeholders and accountability. Accountability basically provides a very important role in creating a good governance activity as a part of improving public confidence in government performance. And then horizontal accountability is the responsibility that is conveyed to the general community. And next is a coherent set of laws and regulation no a low regulatory burden. And next is a coherent set of laws and regulation both within the forest sector and in other sectors that influence forest management. And next is the proper implementation of laws, political stability, and last, sound capacities to govern efficiently and effectively. The main strategy of being effective and efficient governance is to relate to the functioning and to the functioning of the public sector focus on accountability. The second part relates to the performance of the public sector on the connection between policy and implementation. The main objective of good forest governance is to ensure forest sustainability together with fair decision making and benefit distribution. But ecological, economic, and social sustainability cannot be achieved through good forest governance alone. And to be followed to my co-reporters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Manlangit. The concept of forest governance has evolved to engage multiple actors at multiple scales, from local to global. It may include rules about how forests should be governed, governmental regulations about the benefits from the forest resources, and traditional customary rights. Also, the use of private sector's mechanisms such as voluntary certification to support SFM and legal timber supply. International measures to support timber legality and promote good governance, such as the European Union's Forest Law Enforcement, Governance and Trade Action Plan, and payment schemes for environmental services. Effective forest governance processes engage forest stakeholders, address key forest-related issues, and involve other sectors that affect or are affected by forest governance. Among them, women is a particular must be taken into account as they are one of the main groups using forests. It is essential that women be involved in this process because rural women's dependence on forests is different from and often greater than men's due to the gender division of labor and different access to economic resources. The presenter next to me is Miss Myla Clemaco.
Good morning, everyone. I am Myla Climako. I will be the one to tackle about how does forest governance affect the implementation of sustainable forest management (SFM), the quality of country's legal framework, and the rule of law is a strong determinant of SFM. Good forest governance may include empowering police and courts to better detect and punish illegal activities, cross-border collaboration and information sharing, and providing forest users with the adequate access to information on how to comply with legal requirements. Forest policies and laws should also be consistent with those of other sectors such as agriculture, which is a significant driver of forest degradation, and deforestation. The failure of governance in the agriculture sector will, will inevitably undermine the implementation of SFM. For example, clear equity equitable laws on forest resource tenure and access, coupled with effective law enforcement, can be instrumental in achieving SFM. And that's all for my part.
Morning, Mom. Good morning, classmates. I'm Roslyn Killiu. I'm here to present my topics. The three core pillars of forest governance. Number one, policy, legal, regulatory, and institutional frameworks. First, effective forest governance promote efficient, effective, and lawful forest management, as well as fair and equitable outcomes from such management. Second, provide a clear and coherent system that facilitates the sustainable management and use of forest resources. Third, a good forest policy provides a long-term vision for the forest sectors. Number two, planning and decision-making processes. Stakeholder participation, transparency and accountability, and stakeholders' capacity and action are all important for good forest governance, such as women, indigenous peoples, youth, and the elderly are able to participate in these processes. Especially important, the government can play an important role by creating dialogue processes in which all actors can voice their opinions, expectations, and concerns. Number three, implementation, enforcement, and compliance. For compliance is likely to be low if enforcement is lacking, and strict law enforcement does not always contribute to legal and sustainable forestry. From my explanation, the forest is well integrated within the national and sectoral policies and is high on the national development agenda. The negative impacts on forests are reduced and forest resources and biodiversity are protected and conserved. The advantages of this topic of three core pillars of forest governance. In general, forest governance is considered good or responsible when it is characterized by the following elements: adherence to the rule of law, transparency, and low levels of corruptions. Stakeholders' participations in decision making, adequate right for stakeholders, accountability, a low regulatory burden. So that's all about of my topic. The next reporter, Kati Upong.
Good day, everyone. By the way, I am Catherine Upong. I continue the forest governance. My topic will discuss to all of you is all about the 6 principles of forest governance. First is accountability. People and institutions should be accountable for their actions. The second is effectiveness. Governance mechanisms should achieve the ends they are intended to achieve. Number 3 is efficiency. Governance should work with a minimum of resources. Number 4 is fairness equity. The benefits and burdens of a forest resource should fall in a way generally viewed as just. Number 5 is participation. All interested people should have an opportunity to be consulted or to participate in key decisions affecting forest. And the last is transparency. Information about forests and how they are governed should be reasonably available to all. There are the principles of the forest governance. As we can see, the pillar sun, the forest governance, is to make policy, legal, institutional, and regulatory hard works, planning, and decision making.
Forest values are, are thus beliefs that represent an individual's orientation towards forest, and these values have been shown to be related to our social structures and identity through our level of experience with the forest and the people we network with. Now, what is forest values? The forest values concepts among local people in our human capabilities include it includes our approach of maintaining livelihood and elements to achieve goal. Forest values defined as values expressing the ecological value, the recreational value, and the production value related to the forest. Much like the above described three-way distinction of values as egoistic, altruistic, and biospheric. Forest values need to be given greater consideration in sustainable natural resources and great land management.
So, I am the next reporter, and my name is Shalame Debinsig, and my topic is all about the attitudes needed for good governance. So, attitudes needed for good governance is equal opportunities for all, transparency in communication, encourage communication at all levels even if it is expected to be in negative, deal with problems promptly and effectively, encourage smart and result-oriented work, provide ongoing evaluation and guidance to employees to improve, Treat employees as individuals. Focus on quality. Remove defects in work processes. Empower people to ensure quality results. Remind yourself and remind others that staying positive is difficult but not impossible. Do not reject ideas even if they look bad at the first glance. Consider the merits and demerits before taking a decision. Listen and take notes. Do not reply immediately. Paraphrase to check your understanding. Do not use negative vocabulary. Do not put down people. Maintain professional approach. Do not mix personal matters with office matters. So the characteristics of good governance participation is the participations of both sexes is crucial to good governance. Participation could be direct or indirectly through representation. It is important to note that representative democracy does not necessarily take into account the needs of most vulnerable in decision making. Participation means the citizens needs to be informed and organized. So that's all.